Hey guys, it's Gus, and apologies that this is just going to be no video, just pure voice. Um, we had a potential breakthrough in the HR community, and it might spread to other DPS classes at all, as well. I mean, it's um, it's kind of significant. The big question has been what's better, the music box set or the demo set? And it's widely believed that for most classes, the demo set might be better than the music box set, except for sure HRs, right? Because we have the music box set. The music box set is sexy as hell, right? Read it. For when you use a daily power, you do 15% more damage to enemies that are not facing you for 10 seconds. Well, HRs have a daily that only costs 25% AP. So in trials, i.e., Tom, Zerial, kind of demo, and maybe the upcoming trial, we can have this up nearly 100% of the time. And 15% damage, that sounds so sexy. Well, it's not 15% of damage. As a matter of fact, since every ACT we've ever seen in demo or in Tom and Zerial in the HR Discord from the PC community, Music Box is never more than 5% of our damage. There's a lot of reasons. Well, our biggest hits don't factor into it. Roots don't factor into it. The Band of Air don't factor into it. Bilethorn doesn't factor into it. Tunnel Vision doesn't factor into it because none of those can proc the inherent danger. So it's always between 4 and 5% of our damage. I made a video a few days ago. I took it down within like 4 hours because the demo on the surface seems so much sexier, right? We get 4 more strength, that's a 1% damage increase. We get more item level, that's just over 1% more damage increase. And then we get a 5% damage increase from the set after 5 hits, which is almost instantaneous. So nearly 100% uptime in a trial. Plus we get the additional hits from the Lost Myth bonus, which is very insignificant. From the demo set, it's about 1/3 of 1% of our damage. For the music box, it's almost, or I'm sorry, the 3 times journals, it's almost 1%. And then we had 2 breakthroughs. Oracle, who's an HR member, and Cronin, who's an HR member, both on PC provided ACT. And they both ran with each other, so we got to compare notes from their Tom run. But we didn't really think a whole lot about it. Well, maybe some people did. They didn't say anything. But then another piece of info came out day before yesterday by Oracle, and this was amazing. I had made a video about a month and a half, 2 months ago, where I did 200 hits with the 3 times journals and 200 hits without, and I did not get more. I did not get more Band of Air procs, even though the Lost Myth was procking. So my conclusion, my theory was that the 3 times journal, the Lost Myth bonus, did not proc the Band of Air. Check this out. Prepare to have your mind blown. So Oracle did 2,221 hits. So we'll just say 2,200 hits with nothing that can proc the Band of Air. Like no procs whatsoever. No bile procs, no 3 times journal, no demo set, no Tenebris, nothing that procs. So in 2,200 hits, 2,211 hits, the Band of Air procced 180 times. Great. What's that mean? Well, he did a follow-on test using the exact same attacks, and let me get this. He did the same test, but this time he put 3 times journals on. So in 2,200 hits, just under 2,200, it was 2,181 hits. So 40 less hits. So that's a lot, though. 2,000 is a huge sample size. He didn't have 180 procs. Well, he had the Locksmith Vengeance on that procced 1,871 times. So he was nearing like a 90% crit chance. But in those 2,200 hits, actually 39 less than the previous test, the Band of Air procced 230 times. That's amazing. 230 as opposed to 180. That's 200 and did I say 29 or 39? 200. Sorry, touching one. 309 times as opposed to 309 as opposed to 180. So 129 more Band of Air ticks from having the 3 times journals. That's great. There's nothing. I am 100% a believer that the journals proc the Band of Air now. 100% believe it. Until somebody can find something. I don't think it will, but maybe it's only specifically for that specific at will. Who knows? This ring has so many mysteries. This ring right here. So I think that information, based off 2,200 hits with that many more Band of Air procs, is amazing. What's useful about that is that's good to know. But when we had that piece of information, we could link it back to Cronin and Oracle's Tom run. Their Tom was almost identical, mirror matches. They had almost the same amount of hits, same everything. The only difference was Cronin was wearing the Demogorgon set, and Oracle was wearing the Music Box set. So Oracle had 175 inherent. Let me make sure it's 175, just so if anybody goes to the HR and verifies. So this is Oracle's, and he had inherent danger. That's not Oracle's, that's Cronin's. Let me go back to here. It was almost 175 hits, but I'm going to verify. 1 second. Inherent danger, that's not it. Because I have 3 ACTs I'm looking at. That's not it. So it's probably the first one. And Inherent Danger had 175 procs. So you would think with the 175 procs that you would have 175 more chances to proc the Band of Air. Because if the Band of Air procs 10% of the time, that'd be like 17, 18 more hits. Well, actually in that run, Cronin actually had slightly more. I think it was 8 more Band of Air procs. Well, what? What's going on? So here's our theory. That they were both using ferocity, and I've talked about this. I'm a big believer in ferocity. It is my mount equip bonus, and in this run in ferocity they had, it's a lot of ticks, 191. No, ferocity, shoot, it's so small. 100 and ferocity, it's a very insignificant amount of damage, but it's 191 more procs, and that's in Tom and Zerial. It's much more, it's closer to 400. So an extra almost 200 hits from ferocity, which is this that you get from the Termish Lion in a trial. Every time you attack, if you have a stack of ferocity, it procs damage, and that damage can proc the Band of Air. So our theory is all the procs we're getting from the demo, the journals, the demos, the ferocity, and everything else is there is an internal cooldown on the Band of Air. We don't know what it is. We're suspecting 0.5 to 1 seconds is. You get to a point where no matter how many hits you do, you're only going to get so many Band of Airs to proc. So even though one data with the Music Box set had 175 more hits, they actually did slightly less than the person running demo. They were both running ferocity, and they were both running 3 times journals. Tons of procs in a short period of time. So here's the theory. Here's what I'm going with. This is my go-to until anybody can show otherwise for HRs. I am running with the Demogorgon set in trials, and I'm running with 3 times journals in the trials. The 3 times journals, I know that if I run the bigger ones, I get more item level, uh, which equates to base damage, which is great. I prefer the journals because I do not run with the precipitation gloves. So I need the extra power. I like the extra hit points. I like the extra recharge. I like all the extra abilities, the extra hit points, everything you get from running 3 times journals. These journals you do not have to have any pages on if they're in their secondary slots. Shit, they can be green. It doesn't matter. The bonuses are amazing, but what makes them more amazing now, because I was running with 1,000 item level, is that those extra procs, all those little tiny bonuses that are less than 1% of our overall damage, proc the Band of Air. This is purely theorizing. There is no way we can make a 100% determination based off of one data set. There's not a lot of data floating around. So please, if you have any data that proves or disproves this, comment below or make another video so we can compare notes, whatever. Share the knowledge, because we have a lot of new players in the community that we need to get them trained in these trials so they're ready for the next trials. And having more damage helps us get through the trials. So again, thank you to Oracle, thank you to Cronin. Without your guys' input, we could have made this video. I am not 100% certain that this is conclusive, but I believe it until I see something different. For HRs, I'm going to recommend 4 trials, not AoE, that we run the 3 times journals, because that's a couple hundred hits that can proc the Band of Air, and the demo Gorgon set, and the Ferocity mount equip bonus. Stay classy, Neverwinter. See you soon.